Welcome back to the channel, Guitars, Mods, and Music, where we like to mod stuff. I'm Paul, the beautiful, as always, Vita's behind the camera, and today we're going to switch out a bone nut for a brass nut. This is a Fender USA made brass nut. It's already pre-shaped, pre-slotted, so it's pretty sweet deal. Just got to make sure when you buy one that you're getting the right slots and the right width. Since we've been building this Telecaster, we already have this neck perfectly straight. We've set the intonation, everything. It plays beautifully. Love it. So we already know that our nut slots, the height on them, are what we like. So I'm going to use this dandy little instrument from StewMac. Pretty sweet. I usually do everything old-fashioned, but I tried one of these out and it was great. I mean, it's so close, it's unbelievable. This is not a sponsored video. I purchased this just to do my work. We don't get anything out of it. Just what we do on this channel. So the first thing I do, since I already like the way it's set up and I like the height, the nut, everything's cut perfectly, I hold it in playing position. See on the bottom here you have that little plunger. I have it set for inches. I go to the first fret and I set that plunger right on top. Once I have it set like that, I zero it out. Boom. And you know, you gotta have a little finesse, you know, put it on there, make sure it's touching the string, zero it out. And, you know, you don't gotta crush this thing, just put it down nicely. Boom. 16. Clear it. So 16. So what I do is I write that down and I go down through all the strings. First fret, same way. Clear it. Don't touch anything. Clear it. Zero it out. Hit it. Write it down. When you get down to the last, the B and the high E string, loosen this up here in the back and spin it around. That way your plunger is sitting over here and you're still covering all the wood that you can. Put it on, hold it, clear it, hit it, write it down. That's all you got to do. Now you know, once you switch out to this nut, file it and tweak it to them dimensions. Now if you don't have one of them sweet little digital deals, you can always use your feeler gauges. Same thing, go through, find it, find the one that works, just slide it in there, boom, come back and write it down. You know what you got. Now you got to loosen your strings. Once you have the strings loose, take a razor knife, go right along the edge of the nut, both sides, do the end. So once you go around and score it with the razor knife, take your little piece of 1x2. I like to use the soft white stuff. Just, you ain't got to go crazy on it. Just give it a couple taps. And come to the end. Oh, there it went. She's out of there. A lot of times you can get them out without them breaking at all. So we got to get that all cleaned out of there. And that's one of the problems with bone nuts right there. The problem with the bone nuts is they're not equally solid all the way through. They have some hollow spots. You know, it's bone. A lot of times you can get them out without them cracking. I've got them out before and used them in other guitar necks. A lot of times they'll do that. And that just goes to show you that although you get a good tone with a bone nut, you could have some slight hairline cracks in it as well. I do like the sound of bone nuts, so you just gently tap that little piece right on through. Not a problem. So now we're going to make sure that we got all the little debris out of there. Run your file in there. Got the old nut out, it's all cleaned up, made sure there's no debris down in there. We're gonna dry fit the new one in. One thing I noticed, the new brass nut, even though it's the exact same length as the old one has a bigger shoulder on it for some reason. So that tells me there's probably gonna be a tiny little gap on each side on the bottom. They just made it a little bit different. There's a little more shoulder. I don't know if you can see that. So there might be a slight little gap down there. Other than that, everything else lines up perfectly. Let's see how she fits. Oh, she dropped in there like a glove. Line her up. Yep, a little bit, won't hurt anything. They just rounded the ends of this one differently than they did on the original. Fits in there nicely. Let's go ahead and pull her back out. Nice snug fit. So this is just some Gorilla super glue. Doesn't take much. It'll drop there, it'll drop there. Let's drop the nut in and line her back up. Dropped her in there nicely. Now we'll put the strings back on. Restrung it. Got a little tension on all the strings. Doesn't have to be all tuned back up. Now we're going to go through and check our string height to see if it matches or close to what we liked with the old nut in there when we had it set perfect. So again, I like to do it in the playing position. That's just a thing. You don't have to do that, but I feel like it makes a difference. Again, just don't touch your strings. Set her on there, little finesse. Don't crush it, just a little finesse. See what you got. Zero it out. That low E is about 2/1000ths lower than it was before. That's not much. Put it on the A string, zero it out, little finesse. Don't push too hard. Again, about little over 2,000. Let's go to the D string. That's good. That means they have it at least equally the same. We may have to come back and file that one a little bit. Zero it. That one's another just a little over 2,000ths. Let's spin it around. Zero it. Another just right at 2,000. So the D string, we're gonna file it a little bit. Okay, so loosen the string up on that D string. It was off a little bit. They was all pretty much about a 2,000ths lower than the way the old nut was set. Pretty evenly off, except for this D. So we're gonna take 1,000ths off of it. You can get these files at StewMac for the nut files. We're doing I'm putting 9 to 42 strings on here. So my D string is a 0.024. Now these little files are great, but they will take it off quickly. When you're talking that little bit, you're talking no more than 2 strokes on it. And what I do is hold it parallel. A lot of nuts will have a little bit of a dip angle back. These brass nuts have very little. Follow the string. 1, 2. Put it back on and check it. That's just about it. I wouldn't chance taking any more off. She's all tuned back up. I'm gonna go through, make sure there's no string buzzing anywhere. The nut cut is slightly lower. Okay, so no string buzz. Sounds great. That's all there is to it. Hope you guys found this helpful. Have any questions, leave them in the comments. We'll be sure to get back to you. Have a great day, great week. I'm Paul Hopley, and remember, play your guitars, mod your guitars, and make them your own.